partners, EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, Happy New Year! And this is Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady, and I guess this is like the beginning of the brand new tax season, and we want to help you. So whether you're a do-it-yourselfer or somebody that's a client of ours or just an avid listener, we want to help you to save money, and this is it. So when you get all those new forms, we want to help you. So in the meantime, if you have any questions, or you even gotten a love letter, or you got still last year issues hanging on, or you're wondering about Obamacare and how this is going to happen on your tax return, or if it's going to hold it all up, love to help you. Our phone number here in studio is 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And I think we're really riding light today. We got Tiffany Fabian in studio. Hey, Tiff, how you doing?
Hey there, Esther. Very good.
So your husband's down in Florida doing training, right?
He is. And so he's soaking up the rays while we're dealing with the rainy, snowy, sloppy, icy stuff here.
I'm telling you, though, it may be cold in Buffalo, but there's nothing like those warm hearts.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Cold
Nothing
hands,
like the warm hearts in Buffalo.
Heart.
And we have a brand new simulcast that's going on. WGUF in Florida is our simulcast radio station, 98.9. And anybody listening in Florida, we can't take your live phone calls, but if you want to call 1-800-829-9998, that's 1-800-TAX-9998, you can call in the show and we'll answer your questions.
4, right?
And pardon me?
Between 3 and 4, right?
Between 3 and 4, and we'll be very happy to take your questions. And so that's a brand new station. But for the rest of you, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we want to talk about what to do with tax season. Now, by the way, we have 3 new offices this year. We have our brand new Wellsville office, right, our brand new Medina office, and Grand Island. So we are inching out. My body is inching out, and so are we, right? So
that's
my New Year's
Christmas
resolution.
Time.
I saw on your Facebook that you said that your New Year's resolution was to lose 15 pounds, and that was 18 pounds ago or something like that.
That's about right. And so I'm always playing catch up, but I hope one of these days to have it where my goal weight is, you know?
Yep.
That's my aim.
If you figure that out, you will let me know.
You bet your biffy.
Okay, so it was interesting. This morning I was in training with some of our staff, and we were covering the new Obamacare stuff, and it really is, it can be very daunting because you can't check the box that you had health coverage for the whole year if you didn't. So you have a 3-month grace period, but if you didn't have health insurance for at least 9 out of the 12 months, you have to pay what's called the shared responsibility payment. And that's another word for penalty.
Right. They make it sound nice and pretty, but it's our shared responsibility, and it's a penalty you'll pay if you didn't have the health insurance for, more than you get a 3 months caveat, and then you have to have it for the rest of the year, or else you'll get assessed the shared responsibility penalty, right?
That's exactly right. So, but there are, like our commercials, which we will start bothering you guys with shortly, there's 22 exceptions to penalty, and it's interesting. Basically, they have like a stub toe penalty. No, I'm not kidding, but they have all kinds. It was too much of a burden on my family. I was in bankruptcy. My house was being foreclosed upon. I am religiously opposed. There's the exception to penalty if your utilities were turned off. I mean, it's basically hardship penalties. Now, here's the problem.
And it's so funny, Tim Eliason, our navigator, he said to us, I said, there's 22 exceptions, right, Tim? And he says, well, there's really more than 22 because one of the exceptions is if that exception doesn't fit, perhaps there's another one that you...
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because this morning when we were doing training on the premium tax credit, there's where the penalty is computed, the shared responsibility payment is computed. You have to come in with a form that the marketplace gives you with a number in order to have this blanket exemption. Like, for instance, if you religiously object to Obamacare. But the bottom part of the form is where you list your exceptions, of why you didn't have the insurance, like it was too much of a financial burden, I'm caring for a loved one, da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
And that is going to be subject to somebody writing you back, so that can hold up your refund. I guess the best thing somebody can look at is if this is the entree to the penalty portion of the law. It's all done through your tax return. For every member of your household, yourself, your spouse, anyone that's a dependent on your tax return, you have to list whether they have insurance, and there's a small penalty and a larger penalty, which is 1% of your
gross
taxable income. And for instance, in Florida, we were just talking to the people down there. They have to add back in Social Security that their children are getting, whereas in New York State you don't have to. So there's all kinds of computations to figure out your correct taxable income and your correct penalty.
Based on the health insurance. So in Florida, you have to figure out that credit, you have to add back the Social Security that your kids
if your children are getting, but not in New York State.
Wow.
So the premium tax credit is Form 8962. And here's another interesting thing. Let's say that you had lost your job and you stayed on a COBRA plan, and you're paying your own health insurance, and maybe you were paying $600 a month, $7,200, and your income substantially dropped because you lost your job, right? You might be just
Right.
on unemployment. If you didn't get your insurance through the marketplace, you will not get the premium tax credit, which is very interesting because so many of you that are paying COBRA should really take a look at the marketplace, because you will not get the premium tax credit if you're paying it through a COBRA plan. You got to get it through the marketplace, and that's a great big refundable credit. And so that's part of what we want to help people with. As this whole thing phases in, EG Tax is there to help you, so you understand what's happening and you don't get penalized, and you get the biggest bang for your buck.
So in other words, Esther, they did their due diligence, they got health insurance, but they didn't get it through the marketplace, so they don't get their
right.
subsidy. Wow.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I couldn't believe it when we were really looking at the law, but it's true. I did all this research this afternoon, and so if you don't get your health insurance through the marketplace, you will not get the premium tax credit if you're entitled to it. So if you're paying your own. And then the other thing that was interesting is if you were somebody that underestimated your income when you first were applying for the Affordable Health Care Act, tongue-in-cheek,
Right.
And you underestimated your income, so that means you had the largest subsidies from the federal government. Well, if you got too big of a subsidy, they're only making you pay back a teeny weeny bit of it.
So wow,
If you're somebody with your income is less than 400% of poverty level, so it means that basically it's encouraging people to cheat. I can't believe the federal government did that. But
well, don't
by
you think
jinkies, it's in the law.
Don't you think there's going to be a lot of fixes after this first year? They're going to see.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody said.
So I should have.
One of our employees said, "Gee, it feels like they want everything to be paid out of the federal government, which would be single payer like Social Security."
Right.
Who knew? Who
Right.
knew? Anyway, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We want to get you ready for tax season. We're going to give you all the straight stuff so that you know. I know we got people on the phone right now. We'll get you right after the break. We'll be back right on the other side. Okay, I give up.
That was fast.
Well, I knew too many guitars and drums for me.
It's The Departed.
The Departed. Well, see, I'm not that departed. Okay, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. For those of you listening in Naples, Bonita Springs, Marco Island, our phone number is 1-800-829-9998, 829-9998. That's tax 9998. And they're listening on WGUF 98.9. Okay, let's go to the phones. I think we have Jackie from East Aurora. Hey, Jackie.
Hi, Esther. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, Jack.
Thank
What can we
you.
help you
I love
with?
the show. Yes, just a quick question. My husband and I do a joint return, and we claim our medical. Now, he's over 65 and I'm not. So can you tell me, does everything have to be separated?
Yes.
Everything.
If you want to get the 7.5% for him, you have to file a separate return.
Yes. Okay. And just one other quick question. We have independent health. I get a government pension, and it's taken out of my pension. Would I claim under my medical the whole $6,000? Would I claim that, or can he claim half?
No, when you're filing your own return, it's all of your income and all the expenses paid with your money. So if that money was out of your money, then that would go on your return.
Okay, great.
But then here's the other thing, though, you have to be careful of, Jackie. You have to make sure that filing a separate return, let's say he benefits by $3,000 by filing marriage separate over the 10%. You have to really put a pencil to it and say, collectively, if we file a joint return, is it saving us enough money on the federal and the state? Because on New York State, it may not be the same. However, on New York State, filing a separate return may save you money. So you really have to do the return
and then
with you're both married separate, and then it's separate on New York State.
And then another thing, Jackie, if you itemize on the state, he has to itemize. If you itemize on the federal, he has to itemize.
That's
so
correct.
You have
And if
to
he
follow.
itemizes on the federal, you have to itemize on your federal, too.
Yes, I see.
Okay.
Because the medical deduction is quite a big deal, isn't it? If your income...
Well, it's reduced by, in his case, 7.5% of his adjusted gross income versus 10%, right?
Yes.
So it's 2.5%. So if your income were $100,000, it would be $2,500. If you're in the 10% bracket, it's $250.
Yes.
So $250, you'd be surprised how it may not be to your advantage. So the best thing to do is do that tax return,
Both ways.
married separate and married joint.
Well, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Happy New Year.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we're going to go to, let's see, Mike, right?
Yep, that's right.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Hi. You too. I have a question on state tax. I retired very young at 52.
You are young.
Pension.
Wow.
I don't work right now, and I'm curious. I hear things about a $20,000 write-off on state taxes. The first $20,000 is not taxable. What age does that kick in?
At 59, all right, 59 and a half. Now, where did you retire from?
59. It's a private. It's a union, private union.
Okay, so 59 and a half for non-public employees. So if you don't work for the state, if you don't work for the city, you don't work for the county, then it's a $20,000 exclusion. If, however, you worked for one of those institutions, then all of it's tax-free, no matter what your age is. But if you did work for a private institution, like a union or something, then it's the first $20,000 once you reach age 59 and a half.
Okay, well, I guess you've disappointed me today. But
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Thank you. That's all I
Thanks
have.
for calling. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. And we got Dave, right, from Tonawanda?
That's right.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Esther.
Hey.
Question. I'm about to build a new home in the spring.
Wow, good for you.
Scary, but yeah. And I have,
Are you your own contractor, or are you subcontracting it out?
I'm going to have someone build it for me.
Okay.
My question is, I have about $40,000 in savings bonds that have matured.
Okay.
What am I looking at as far as when I cash those in? Because I want to use that money towards the construction loan when I do this.
All right. So you're saying you have $40,000 in bonds or $40,000 in interest on bonds?
I would believe it's both combined.
Okay. Well, if the face value of the bond is $40,000, buried in that $40,000 is interest. Only the interest is going to be taxable, and only taxable on the federal.
Okay.
Okay. So what you have to find out from the usually the bank, you can go in and they'll tell you exactly how much the accumulated interest is. Now, what source of income do you have, Dave? Approximately how much?
Currently,
Yeah.
I'm around $95,000.
All right. That's including you and your spouse?
That's just me alone.
Okay. So you're in the 25% solid tax bracket, one would assume. So let's just say that the interest is $20,000. It's going to cost you $5,000 in taxes on the federal return, nothing on the state return.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a subtraction on the state.
Okay.
Okay? Now, if, they extended the extensions, which meant that they kept the sales tax in, if you're buying lumber and you are not, and you're paying the sales tax on the lumber as you get it, and they keep the extension in for next year, the sales tax would be a deduction on the 2015 itemized return. So that will save you some money as an itemized deduction.
Would my contractor have that information to provide?
Well, if your contractor's buying the lumber, he's probably going to make it a capital improvement, and it probably won't be subject to sales tax. Many times people, when they're just going out to Lowe's or Home Depot buying the stuff themselves, they pay the sales tax, and the sales taxes through 2014 are deductible. We're really surprised that happened, but it did, and I don't know what will happen in 2015, but it looks like they're in the mood to keep extending the extension, so It may be a good thing for you.
Okay, very good.
All right.
And the last question I have for you, is there any better way to cash in those bonds? I mean, I guess I need.
Well, I guess it would have been good if you would have done a little last year before the end of the year and a little this year.
That's what I was going to say.
Right, but that's not possible.
Right.
All right. Now, you're still working, right?
Yes.
And you have a pension plan at work?
Yes, I do.
All right. Are you a single gentleman?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I'm assuming you've maximized your pension plan.
Yes, I have.
Your 401k.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you've maximized your 401k and you are a single guy, there's nobody else that you can put money into an IRA for, that's about it, except for the sales tax deduction. That would be about it, unless you start a small business or buy some rental property. I don't know if you're into that complication in your life.
No, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year to you.
And then mortgage rates are so low, maybe he'd want to...
That's true. I'm going to tell you, when you take a look at everything, it's a great time to buy or build a house.
Right.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on your cell phone. It is tax time, and we want to help you. We have a brand new partner in Naples, Fort Myers, Marco Island area of Florida, WGUF 98.9. If you have any questions and you want to call us in from that and ask a tax question from that neck of the woods, call 1-800-TAX-9998, 1-800-TAX-9998, and we're just thrilled to be where it's warm, in our minds at least, and it's going to connect. It's going to be our Southern Buffalo connection.
Yeah, it's
right,
WGUF, right?
WGUF, right?
GUF. Yes, sounds like when I'm down there in Florida, we have an office around there. I've listened to the show, and it's very good to be on the station that I've listened to many of times myself.
Right.
So.
All right, so let's go. We have Alberta.
Albert.
Buffalo.
It's Albert.
Albert. Oops. Excuse me, Albert.
Hey there, Albert. How can we help you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I had Savings Bank life insurance, and it was demutualized, I guess, and I got a payment of cash instead of taking the stocks. Is that taxable?
It may be. When they did the demutualization, they let you come up with a higher adjusted basis. So part of it is going to be taxable, part of it isn't. So what you have to do is go back to the Savings Bank Life Insurance Company and find out how much it was worth at the time that it was demutualized. That gives you the stepped up basis, so to speak. And then the difference between what you got it for when they took it over and what you sell it for is going to be the capital gain.
So that's when you go to sell it, Albert.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I didn't get the stock. I got the cash.
He did sell it, Tiffany.
You did. Yep.
Yeah. So what you need to
told
do,
him
you know what you can do? This next week, just before we officially open up on the 15th, the IRS opens up on the 20th. If you want to come into our corporate office on Niagara Falls Boulevard, we're very happy to sit down with you. We'll call the insurance company and find out what kind of value they put on that stock at the time of the demutualization for you. And there's no charge.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Okay, and let's go to Sean. Hey, Sean, how are you? I'm Esther Golias. How can I help you?
Hello, how are you?
Good. Sounds like you're on a cell phone.
Yes, I am. I'm driving right now in my car.
All right, let's keep that a secret.
Unless you got sync.
Yeah, it is hands-free. It's hands-free. Don't worry.
Hands-free. Okay. How can we help you, Sean?
For the religious exemption for Obamacare, do you have to apply every year, or is it a one-time exemption?
Okay, so this is what you need to do. The exemption, you actually have to go through the exchange, tell them that you have a religious objection to receiving public benefits. They will give you in 2 weeks, they're supposed to send you a certification. By the way, we have the forms in our offices. So anybody that needs that certification form, you can stop in our offices and we'll be very happy to give it to you. You send it in. They then give you an official number that you're going to put on your tax return. I don't know at this point in time if you have to apply every year or if the one number is going to do forever. So right now we know that 2014, it can't be retroactive. So if you haven't gotten the number, you can't get the number for 2014. You're just going to have to do it as one of the hardship exemptions. But for 2015 going forward, you want to make sure that you get that so that you can put it on your tax return. Okay?
So this is how you can only get it by mailing the form. You cannot get it online or by
No, you can't. You got to mail in the form, and then they'll give you the letter in 2 weeks.
Okay, Sean, we got a break for the news.
All right, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. See you on the other side.
Como si fuera esta noche la última vez.
I know who that is. That's Andrea Bocelli.
Congratulations.
Oh, my God.
Is your heart going flutter?
I want to tell you, if my husband said it's me or Andrea Bocelli, I'd have to think for a while. I mean, because, whoa. As a matter of fact, for one of my birthdays, and I won't mention which one, my husband took me to New York City to see him in person, and wow, it was remarkable. You know, what a great guy. Anyway, I can't go off there. I was already floating around. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. And we've had Dave that's waited so long. Hey, Dave, I'm Esther Golias. How can I help you?
Well, Esther, how you been?
Marvelous, sir. What's new?
Great. I got a real unusual question.
So great to hear that. Okay, what do we got?
Okay, I turned 70 and a half last December.
Okay.
Okay, now
you mean
I'm
like on
required to
2014? On 2014 you turned 70 and a half?
Right, 2014 I turned 70 and a half.
Okay.
That means I have to take the first 2014 deduction out by the 15th of April, correct?
Yes, and then you have to take another one before December 31st of next year.
Okay.
Of
the unusual
2015.
part of the question is, what if I don't live till April the 15th?
You know, I mean that's a very, it's a very serious thing, and if you are in a situation where it's life threatening, There's nothing
well,
they can do.
according
There's
to the
no
doctor.
RMD, Dave, if you aren't here.
Yeah.
So if you are not here, they cannot impose a law to which you cannot do. So
Okay.
you don't have to worry about your estate having to pay anything or anything. So up till April the 15th, God forbid, there's you go to be with the Lord, where we're all going to be at some point in time in our lives. I mean, you're out from under. You don't have to worry. Your estate doesn't have to worry about it either.
Yeah, okay. Now, that's what I want to tell my kids. Okay. Thank you so very much.
All right. God
Thanks.
bless you.
God bless Dave.
All right, let's see. What do we got here? I mean, that's a heartbreaker, isn't it? I mean, it's something that we all look at some point in time in our life. And, yeah, I mean, they can't make you do what you aren't here to do. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right?
A
Okay.
he-mate, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And it's reality, but it's sad. Okay, and then I want to talk about what some of the provisions that were just extended that people may not know about. The educator expense has been extended, so
Up
professional
to
people
$150 on the bottom of page 1 of the 1040, and that's
right,
an adjustment.
as an adjustment.
Exactly.
The cancellation of debt for people that had their homes foreclosed, their homes foreclosed, that's been extended. The MIP insurance deduction has been extended. Energy credits.
Right.
I know everybody thought they couldn't do it, but it's back in. So if you haven't taken up to $500 for energy
lifetime
conservation on your personal home, that's still in there. Sales taxes are deductible. So if you bought a car last year, plus what they give you as a standard deduction based upon your income, that's in there as an itemized deduction. Tuition and fees deductions, which was supposed to go away. So if you're somebody that has already maxed out on the AOL, or you don't qualify,
the AOTC.
AOTC,
Lifetime.
and then the lifetime learning, the tuition and fees adjustment is still in there for you.
Yep.
For kids going to college or yourself going to college.
I'm telling you, I'm in the midst of an audit right now for one of my clients who the IRS is looking, and they said that she took the AOTC or HOPE for too long, and so you really want to pay attention to that, you know.
You can only take
For 4 years.
the American Opportunity Tax Credit for 4 years, the first 4 years of continuing education.
Right.
So if you did it for 4 years, you can't take it for the 5th year.
Right.
Then you would move to lifetime learning.
Yep. Or tuition and fees deduction.
Or tuition. Well, lifetime learning would be better.
Right.
You know. Okay, then we got qualified charitable distributions for people over the age of 70 and a half that wanted to move money from their IRA to a charity, first $100,000. That's still back in there. 179 expensing up to $500,000 is still in there. Bonus depreciation still in there. Plug-in electric vehicles are still in there. So those were things that they just did like 3 weeks before the end of tax season. So hopefully if you listen to Ask the Tax Lady, we gave you the information you needed to save money on your tax return.
Right. And I was just reading a blurb that the IRS sent out, and they said, we're really not so happy that the extenders happened so late in the year, and so we're still going to get tax season going on the 20th, but of course, you know, they're putting this as their little caveat. Why?
Well, here's the thing. You know, it used to be that if you filed on a Tuesday and your return was acknowledged before Wednesday, you got your refund the following Thursday. That happens sometimes, but generally not. And especially this year with the Affordable Health Care Act in there, it's going to definitely muddy up the works. And so we have told people time and time again, take control of your old withholding. If you're somebody with a large refund, change your W-4 at work, get less sent into the federal government, get more take-home pay, and then you're in control of your tax situation. And I know a lot of people say this is the only way I can save. There's other, I mean, you can do it,
right,
because there's no sense people just completely, you know what it's like, Tiffany, they say, I want my money, I need my money, I got to, you know.
Yeah. I think one of the most eloquent things, as you said, is you're waiting for your refund. You've been counting on it all year. And so to have the IRS hold you hostage is just a horrible position to be in, you know.
That's right. All right, let's go back to the phones. We got Bob from Williamsville. Hey, Bob. Hello, Bob.
Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. I have a couple of questions real quick. I'm leaving for Florida on the 26th of this month, and I feel I'm going to have to file an extension. Is that something you can do?
Sure. I mean, when are you coming back?
Late April.
Okay. So, yeah, we can do an extension anytime you want. You know, the wonderful thing is between Florida and Buffalo, there's telephone lines, there's fax lines. You can just call any of our offices and tell them your situation. We'll ask you some questions. We'll do the automatic extension, get it filed for you, send you a copy, and then you have till October the 15th to do your tax return, provided you have your liability paid in.
And the truth is, if you want to do it before you leave in January, we can also do it before you leave too. If you come in,
or you can fax us up all your information and we'll do it.
Right. If I could just say, I've used your service for the last 3 years. I emailed you this question, and the answer I received back was that generally you don't do it till the first week of April.
Oh, well, we can't do it until the IRS is open for business till the 20th of January.
I mean, if you open on the 15th, could I stop by the office I use and they could handle the paperwork and then submit it when it needed to be done?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
the only thing I worry about is if New York State will have its extension forms out by the 15th. They're a little bit slower sometimes.
Well,
but...
that's true. It'll be more like, nothing's open till the 20th.
Right.
By the 20th, New York State will be on board too.
Yeah.
Right. But
okay,
I mean,
so when are you going to Florida?
I leave the 26th.
Now, where are you going?
Bonita Beach.
We got an office right on Airport Pulling. So you
Right.
can also go into that office, and we'll do it right for you in person.
Okay. Now, would that office have my last year's returns on file? With
every one of our offices has a database. They can capture your information.
Okay, because I'm hoping to get all my forms together by the time I leave.
Well, we have in our Naples office, we have a CPA enrolled agent. I mean, you have absolutely experienced people down there. They'll take good care of you too.
Right. Okay, and if I could just run one other thing by you.
Sure.
Real quick. My wife is retired from the county, so I'm talking just New York State tax liability only.
Okay.
My wife's pension is tax exempt. My pension is just under $20,000, so that's tax exempt.
Because
and
you're over 59 and a half, right?
Pardon me?
You're over 59 and a half.
Yes.
Okay.
Both our Social Securities are tax exempt in New York State also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I take $15,000 a year out of my IRA, when I file the New York State return, there's a $15,000 standard deduction. So would that effectively neutralize my tax liability on that $15,000?
Okay, so this is how it is. Let's say your wife's pension is $35,000 on the federal, and your pension is $19,000, and then you're taking another $15,000. The two subtractions you're going to get is the $19,000 pension subtraction because you're over the age of 59 and a half. Your wife's pension is going to be completely tax-free. So all that's going to be left out there is that $15,000. So yes, you're going to be that'll be a subtraction, and you effectively won't owe any New York State taxes. Now on the federal, that is not the case.
Right, that I understand.
So you'll be
I was just trying to make sure my thinking was correct on the state end of it.
Absolutely perfect thinking.
So that when my broker says you want taxes withheld, I can say no.
Not on the
Not
state.
on New York State, correct.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'll probably see your people in Naples.
Yeah, so you'd see
Road.
Sandy or Paul, and Paul's a CPA, Sandy's an enrolled agent. They're absolutely great.
Right, and they can file New York forms there.
They can do everything.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you.
And
great,
Sandy,
have a great New Year.
Sandy used to live in New York State.
She did.
Yep.
She sure did.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, Sandy lived in Buffalo.
And I think we're going to go to a break.
And we are. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll see you on the other side. I love that song. That's Andrea Bocelli, too.
Yes, it is.
If I could speak Italian, you know. Anyway, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, and Tyler's just trying to make me crazy because actually, he is my favorite singer. I just absolutely love Andrea Bocelli. Anyway, if I could only go to another concert of his. But I'm Esther Galicia, the tax lady. It is tax time, and we want to help you. 8030930, 8030930, and our new partner in Naples is WGUF 98.9. If you have any questions, you can call 1-800-TAX-9998, and we'll be very happy to answer your tax questions also. Okay, let's go back to the phones, Tiffany, and we have Carolyn holding, right?
That's right, Carolyn. Hello.
Hi. I have a question. My son has a UTMA account that we started many, many years ago.
Yep.
He's a senior, and he will be using it for college expenses this coming year. Except last year he withdrew some money to purchase a computer. How do I go about claiming taxes on those? How do I even know how those appreciated over time?
Well, is it interest income or is it a stock?
It was a Steinrow investment fund that is now a Columbia investment fund.
Okay, what they're going to do is they're going to send him a statement at the end of the year, which says how much they sold of his stock portfolio, and if you're really lucky and it's within the last few years, they've been keeping track of the basis for you. So what they will do is give you a form that says what you paid for the stock, how much it appreciated, and the difference is going to be the gain. Otherwise, the burden rests with you to come up and figure out what you had put into the account, and you can average out the cost per share to figure out the average cost per share, and the difference between the average cost per share and what you sold it for.
And any dividends he's paid tax on,
Right.
which probably isn't any, because if it's in his name, he hasn't had to file.
Right. I mean, it hasn't been enough to file for any of the years.
Right, but it still goes to basis. So anyway, they should keep track. If they didn't, you have the burden of proof is on you. You have to go back to what you paid for it, plus all reinvested dividends, and that'll give you the adjusted basis. You divide it by the number of shares. It's your average cost per share. The difference between what that is and what you sell it for is what's going to be his capital gain.
And then, Carolyn, you'll have to do that when are you going to use that money for his college, for his schooling too?
The rest of it will go for schooling because then he had just purchased a computer. So
this will be a good dry run for what you're going to have to do going forward for the other years too, right?
That's true, because once you come up with your cost basis, all you have to do is add any other reinvested dividends you received, and any other capital you put into the account, and that'll give you, you should keep track of your basis going forward. But actually, under law, any new purchases after last year, the brokerage has to keep track of for you.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
And what a good mommy that she got stocks for her kids for her college. What a smart plan.
It is.
Smart.
All right, Happy New Year. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We want to help you, and I just wanted to let you know that with the health insurance mandate that's in the law, we get nothing. We make zip, no money by helping you to wade through this whole maze of Obamacare. It's interesting. I was doing a training session today, and one of the ladies says, well, she was turned down. And I said, you're dealing with people who are learning this thing too, and what you have to do is the law. And if this is what the law says, then you have to doggedly go after it. I know our own navigator had problems with the state, and he had to go after them, and we ultimately won. And so you just can't lay down and say, oh, okay, I guess that's what it is, because that's what we want to do. We want to help you.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And this year's penalty isn't so much, up to maybe $295 or 1% of your adjusted gross income. You make $100,000. Of your taxable income, you're going to pay a $1,000 penalty. Next year, it goes up to 2%. The year after that, 2.5%, and it gets to the place where it's so costly, you really got to move into insurance. And we want to help you, and there's no charge, and we'll show you all the different options. And you can call Tim.
at our office, at the corporate office at 716.
And he will be, he's an absolute he's the navigator. He is a navigator, and he will help you, right?
He knows his
Okay, let's
stuff.
go back to the phones, and we got Ed, right?
That's right.
Hey, Ed.
Or excuse me, this is Marge. Hey, Marge, how are you doing?
Ed just turned into Marge. Hi, Marge. How you doing?
Happy New Year, Esther.
Happy New Year to you,
and
too.
to everybody with you there. I don't know all their names.
Well, actually, it's just Tiffany today. Her husband's in Florida.
Hey, Marge, how you doing? Happy New Year.
Good, thank you, and same to you.
What can we help you with?
I got a real fast question.
Okay.
I'm 70. I've been retired since I'm 65, and I get a $7,400 a year. I get it monthly pension from the place I worked at.
Okay.
And I was wondering, my former, the girl that did my taxes for 20 years or more, she was wonderful. She told, when I asked her about this, these taxes, and if I had to pay taxes on this pension, she said to me, no. She said if it's under $10,000, you don't have to pay. And I just wanted to make sure that was right.
It is right, because there's a standard deduction for people that are single and over 65.
I am
and
single.
With your personal exemption,
I'm a widow, is what I am.
Yeah, so it's
But I get
substantially
my own
over
Social
$10,000.
Security.
So if your only income is the $7,400 from your pension, you don't owe any.
No. I get Social Security.
Right, which is the same scenario. If your pension is less than $10,000 plus your Social Security, you don't have to file. You don't have to pay taxes. So your preparer was right.
That's correct.
Oh,
now,
all right.
there are people listening that are going to say, oh, good, I don't have to file. But there are people listening also that are working and between the ages of 25 and 65, and those people may want to file because they get an earned income credit. In your situation, that is not the case because you're not working and you're not between the ages of 25 and 65. But many people that are between that with lower income, you qualify for an earned income credit, and they will give you money back.
And not
but
to
in your
mention-
case, you're good to go.
And not to mention
Well,
if they had
you know, the
withholdings.
reason I called you is I hated to second guess that girl.
No,
I don't. She doesn't do my taxes anymore, but I go anyway. And the only reason I go every year is because, you know, I get the STAR program and I get certain other things. And I just think it's a good idea for people to do their taxes.
Well, you know, the thing
$50
is, if you don't need to file, you don't need to file. But if your city requires that you come in with a completed tax return to get the STAR program, that's a horse of a different color.
Well,
but
you
really,
know,
you
they
don't
just
have to file.
They just require that you bring all your paperwork. You know, I get a statement every month from the pension people and from Social Security, and they want you to bring it in. To me, I think it's easier to get the taxes done. I just feel better about it.
Well, that's up to you, but again, you don't need to. So, and I
just
know
didn't
that
want
when
my
I
kids
say to
to
some
have
of my clients, you don't need to file anymore, it's like, wow, they don't want me? But it's thank God you get to that place where they just aren't going to go into your pockets anymore, as long as your income is low enough. Okay?
Okay, thank
All right,
you so
Marge.
much, Esther.
Happy
Bye-bye.
New Year. I'm Esther
Same to
Golias,
you.
the tax
Bye-bye.
lady from EG Tax. If you need help during the week, we have our brand new websites out there. You can go in, ask tax questions, write it all down. We'll make sure we get back to you right away. I know we wanted to also mention things you need to get ready before you file, and don't rush to get in, especially with this Affordable Health Care Act. You want to make sure that you do everything wisely, because what can happen is they'll hold up your refund while they're doing the research that you didn't do. So here's all things you need, all your income, including unemployment. So you got to wait for unemployment. And then there's a brand new form for those of you that are on the marketplace that's called a 1095A. And you can't do your tax return without the 1095A from the New York State of Health. All right, so you need that. Statements from your employer, W-2 forms, statements from investments, banking statements, educational statements if you're in college because you got those college credits, income from stocks and bonds and investments, income from self-employment and all your expenses, income from rentals, interest paid on student loans, interest paid on mortgages, home equity, credit lines, medical, property taxes, charity, business expenses, and anything else. And I will tell you, if you go to our website, you'll find all kinds of things that'll give you some pointers so that you don't overpay your taxes. And I will tell you, make sure you don't file your return too early, because without the proper documentation, it's just going to hold up your refund, and you don't want to do that. Right, Tiff?
That's right. That's right. Lots of help on the website.
That's right. All right. And so during the week, until April the 15th, our corporate headquarters on Niagara Falls Boulevard is open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Starting on the 20th, we're there 9 to 9, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 on Saturday. All of our branch offices open on the 20th. And, stop in, even if you don't have your tax return to do, stop in and talk to some of the staff. They can give you kind of a handout of things that you can, look for to bring in, things that might be deductible to you, right?
Exactly. There's also a nice new tax planner that we have on our website. But if you want to know where you're going to be sitting for the year, come in and we will certainly give you the answers.
That's exactly right. So New Year's resolution, this time of year, everybody's making resolutions. One of the things I would say is to take a look at getting your tax information together. Make sure you maximize your pension plan, change your W-4 at work so that you don't send too much money in. And if you are somebody that hasn't gotten health insurance and you're not through the exchange, I'm telling you, they're penalizing you if you don't go through the exchange. And I know that sounds so convoluted, but EG Tax is there to help you. Until next week, I'm Esther Gullius, the Tax Lady, with Tiffany Fabian. Have a great week. Bye-bye.